I would love for you to tell, my listeners about a couple, one or two of your mentors or the people that inspired you the most, the young Gus Johnson, as you were coming up and inspired you to get into this industry.
Well, first of all, my number one mentor was my father.
Mm-hmm.
He was the smartest man that I ever met, and he never went past the third grade. So he always tried to impart upon me core, fundamental ways of conducting my life, and that really helped me over time as I grew up. Looking back on it, one of my great mentors was a man by the name of Ray Peters. You know Ray Peters,
Yep.
who was my first sports director in Waco, Texas. And I remember I was 21 years old, making $16,000 a year, and I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the technology, meaning having to shoot my own stuff, edit my own stuff, set up my own live shots, set up my own stand-ups. I got overwhelmed. And one day I pulled him into an edit bay. And edit bays, I don't know if you know, but they used to be really small,
really
and kind of
small.
intimate. And I broke down. I was like, man, I think I'm blowing this. I don't know what to do. And he said, I'm going to help you. So one day and he said this is my first job. He said, I'm going to help you. Because one day when you're at the network, those big time producers and directors won't be able to tell you nothing. And he helped me. I mean, we went fundamentals, shooting, editing, producing my shows, timing everything out. And I improved. And I think he was one of the biggest mentors because he didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we get competitive with each other. He didn't have to help me.
Yeah.
And he did. And I'll never forget that. And I love him for it to this day. And he's one of the big reasons that I've had success in this industry. When I was in college, I had a professor named Dr. Lee Thornton. She used to be a television anchor in D.C., and she was like my mother for broadcasting. She worked with me on my writing back then when I was in college.
Yeah.
And we put together shows, and I was on TV in college at our television station at Howard. We got WHUR. I forget the name of the station. But anyway, Howard University had its own station.
Yeah.
And, just Dr. Thornton and some of the things he taught me, and confidence. Everything is confidence in this business, because when this red light goes on, it's like a gun pointing at you. And they see everything.
That's right.
And they hear everything.
And no one can help you at that point. Once that light is on, and we talk about this a lot, and you've helped me. I mean, when I get asked that question about my mentors, you have become one of those for me in my career. And one of the things amongst many that you've taught me is, when that red light comes on, all you have is each other.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter what's going on in the truck or anywhere else, your personal life, anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's that camera and there's your partner.
Right.
And the microphone. And obviously Jenny being an extension of our partnership, down on the sideline. But that helped me immensely. And so for me, it's so fascinating to hear you talk about those people in your life and what they taught you, because I see the fruition of that mentorship every single week.
Yeah.
Your timing is impeccable, and I believe that was because of Ray. Your writing is always good. I always see you jotting things out, and you'll talk through with either Scott or myself, how are we getting into it? How are we getting into the show and setting the story? And so I see those fruits all the time, which is really fun.
I got to tell you, man, and I got to tell your listeners that You're unbelievable. I really appreciate you.
Go on.
No, come on, Ma. You got to take it. You're unbelievable,
You're
folks.
too good. You're
he
too good
works.
to me.
I've never seen. I used to work with Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
Mayock was my partner. We did the Canadian Football League together. 2 Grey Cups, 94, 95. We did college football at CBS.
Yep.
He was the hardest working dude that I'd ever seen. He was sick about it. And then came you. You are the hardest working, most detail-oriented person that I think I've ever met in my life. And I really admire that because I'm a scatterbrain. You know, I'm a emotional, humanities kind of guy. But you, in terms of your detail, maybe that was because your dad was in the military.
Yeah, he was a Marine.
And he must have had, you know. Process.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, Joel, going back to sports, I'm a point guard.
Yeah.
I know if I keep your hands full, you're going to make it better for me. And I know that when I put it on a dime for you and you jam it, you feel good. And not only do you feel good about me. So all of a sudden now we're working together.
Yeah.
You know, we're passing. I mean, if you think about it, when you think about our broadcast now, it's almost like, you know, usually the play-by-play man is the host, but it's almost like we're hosting it together, which I really find a lot of safety in.
Yeah. It's interesting. You say safety. I explain it as joy.
Yeah.
I experience a lot of joy calling games with you because of, and some things that I want to get into right now, which is style. You know, you were instrumental in teaching me about style and rhythm, and not trying to shape my style, but find your own style, be yourself within the rhythm of the broadcast. And you talked about rhythm with me a lot. And it was the first time I had ever heard about it in terms of within a broadcast. Normally, I just thought like, I'm there to give information, you know, the process-oriented side of me and give information. But you talked about rhythm, and you made an analogy, I remember, in our very first year. I don't remember exactly the week or the game, but you made an analogy to, hey, man, we're doing a double dutch here. Don't trip the rope. and you know, you said it as only you can. But it lasted for, and now I use that analogy as well. And so every single broadcast, what I'm trying to do initially, other than just like inform the viewer and everything, is find the pocket.
Yeah.
You know, like where is the pocket today? Because some games are a little bigger than others, you know, and the pocket can be a little bit different. And you taught me that. So where did you learn that? I would love to, like, that style, the rhythm. Where did that come from?
I study this, man. I've been when I found sportscasting, I just knew. Nothing else mattered. I knew that this is what I was going to do. And this is, you know, who I want to be. So I studied it. I looked at it. I watched it. I would go do games when I was working in D.C. I would go do games, inter-high games, by myself. I would take my tape recorder. I had a microphone, and I would just work on calling. I would prepare for the game, even though I'm sitting in the stands with parents. I remember one time this kid broke down the sideline on this big run. And I'm getting ready to yell, oh, it's going to be a touchdown. And there's a mom sitting right next to me. She grabbed my mic and said, that's my baby. That's my baby. Well, I grabbed the mic back. I said, hey, your baby just scored a touchdown. So, but I've been doing it for a long time. And I see everything in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a passion and it's an obsession of mine. But what I do notice is that the game has its own rhythm. The game is like the musical piece. So what we have to do is be that top note on top of it. that note on top of it, the human voice. And there's a flow to it. And the flows, as you said, are different. Some games are defensive games. Some games are big-time offensive games. Some games are neither offense or defense. It's just awful.
Yeah.
So you got to you got to find a pocket to communicate with your audience.
Yeah.
Because the great thing about our jobs, Joel, and we have a lot of responsibility in terms of people let us in their houses, man.
Yeah.
During their leisure time, their downtime, when they want to root for their team. So we have to always give our best, even though some days, you know how it is with me, some days I'll come in and be like, partner, green light, I don't got it today. That's what I say to them. I'll give them the green light. I ain't got it today, man. And then that's why I love him so much, because he protects me. You know, it's my quarterback. So, you know, I think that's where, you know, just the little things over the years, 30 years.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.